Yo, what is up guys? It's me, Zachary, back bringing you some more NBA news and updates. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, but you guys already know that we're gonna have a heck of a lot to talk about today, so let's not waste any time. Let's just get right into all of the madness that we gotta cover. Let's go. For our first story of the day, the Toronto Raptors sure did make quick work of the Orlando Magic, didn't they? Game 1 didn't go like anyone expected it to go. The Raptors wound up losing to DJ Augustine in that one, but ever since then, the Raptors seemingly got it together. And the rest of the series more or less looked like the series we thought it was going to be after we found out that the first round was going to be the Raptors versus the Magic. As with this 115-96 win last night, the Raptors will now advance to the second round of the playoffs after winning the series 4-1. Kyle Lowry saying after this game that after game 1 when the Raptors lost, the Raptors figured out the Orlando Magic, and since then it was pretty easy for them. Kind of figured it out and made a good adjustment after game 1. We were a little bit too soft in coverages and we figured it out really quickly. What we wanted to do, how we needed to help each other, and how we needed to play. To figure out that quick is a really good thing for us. We just got to continue to build off of it. The Raptors haven't had a playoff series like this where they just dominated their opponents for as long as I can remember. It was always some type of drama or concern that even though the Raptors were supposed to be the better team, that something would happen and they would end up losing a series to an inferior team. It took them 6 games, I believe, to beat the Wizards last year, and then of course they got swept by the Cavs. So for Toronto to take care of business like this, it should prove that anything that was hindering them in the past clearly isn't hindering them anymore. Next up in the news, this was probably the most disappointing game of the night yesterday, only because there had been so much drama in this series leading up to this point, and for the most part the previous games had been really close. So for this game to start and end in an absolute blowout was disappointing. Philly absolutely wrecked Brooklyn last night. Final score read 122-100, and I just remember watching this game and seeing the Brooklyn Nets not even score their first point of the game until the first quarter was halfway over, and at that point you could already tell that this series was over. The Sixers were legit steamrolling them. D'Angelo Russell said it best after the game when he said they did whatever they wanted before we could even get on the board, and that's exactly what happened here. For Brooklyn though, it was still an impressive season. They wound up with the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, and for the team that hasn't had any lottery picks for the past few years, to be rebuilding without lottery picks is very impressive. Once again, they were one of the worst teams in the league, and now all of a sudden, they're a good team. They're a good, hard-playing team with a decently bright future with D'Angelo Russell, Caris LeVert. They got some good players. They're gonna have money to spend in free agency, so the sky's really the limit for Brooklyn right now. I can't give the management, the GM, Sean Marks, enough credit for how he's been able to turn this franchise around. For our next story of the day, this is actually the best first round matchup, and it's also the first round matchup that seems to be getting the least amount of coverage. It's crazy how things work out that way. I mean, this is the only series that feels like a series in the sense of it could go to 7 games while all the rest are ending in 4 or 5 games. The Denver Nuggets though just got a major win, as the winner of game 5 is often the team that goes on to win the series, and considering that the series is now going to shift to San Antonio for game 6, this game 5 for the Nuggets really was a must win, since they would have had no chance of winning this series had the Spurs won this game and gone up 3-2, with the series once again about to shift to San Antonio. 108-90, the Nuggets come away with the victory behind impressive play from both Nikola Jokic as well as Jamal Murray. Jokic with 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists, while Murray added 23 points and 7 assists. Also, shout out to Will Barton off the Nuggets bench. Nuggets fans booed him during game 2 of the series, but he was much better last night, scoring 17 points on 7 of 11 shooting from the field. And after this game, head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, Greg Popovich, could do nothing but praise Nikola Jokic, since in game 1, the Spurs were able to contain Nikola Jokic, and that's a big reason why the Spurs were able to come away with a win. However, since then, that hasn't been the case, as Nikola Jokic has once again been looking like Nikola Jokic, and the Spurs haven't been able to do anything about it, and that's what led Greg Popovich to say this: every great player is a challenge, and he can do a little bit of everything, and he does all of those things so well. He's a consummate team player and has great skills, but he's also competitive, does a great job and has a very high basketball IQ. I think if Greg Popovich could handpick the team that he wanted to coach, Nikola Jokic would be very high on the list of players that Greg Popovich would want to coach. He just seems like the type of player that Greg Popovich would love to coach. Then again, Nikola Jokic also seems like the player that any coach in the NBA would love to coach. And for now, what will be our final story of the day, the one that you've all been waiting for, and the one where if you are an OKC Thunder fan, especially if you are one of the people who does not like to hear any Russell Westbrook slander, this is the time for you to absolutely click off the video. Matter of fact, just stay off the internet for the next few days, or at least next few weeks, maybe for the next season, because it ain't safe for you guys out here right now. Alright, so I'm sure you've all seen or heard of this by now, but in case you haven't, this clip right here is all you will ever need to see.
Clock is off. Portland has a timeout. Lillard, a chance to send the Thunder home. Lillard, long range three, and it's good at the buzzer!
Nothing else really needs to be said, and this very well could be the end of the video. That's how dangerous that shot was. That was absolutely freaking insane. I mean, first off, that's just disrespectful, Damian Lillard, ending a team season like that. A nonchalant 37-foot step-back bomb as the clock expires. Didn't even need a three. The game was tied, not like when Lillard did a similar thing to Houston years back when they were down 2 and he hit that three at the buzzer to eliminate the Rockets. No, in this one, the score was tied. All Portland needed was 2 points, but instead, Damian Lillard decided just to dribble out the clock and basically attempt a half-court shot in the face of one of the frontrunners to win Defensive Player of the Year. And not just that, but in the face of the player who Lillard took exception to because of how he dunked the ball when the game was already over back in game 4. And then not only that, but then to go on and show no emotion whatsoever on your face while you wave bye to the bench of the OKC Thunder after making this shot adds even more salt to the wound. And not to mention that this basket is what gave Lillard exactly 50 points on the night, capping off what Lillard called his most impressive performance after the game. This is the type of stuff that you see in movies, that you'll see in freaking Space Jam 2 with LeBron James, and not on the actual basketball court. And like I said, because of this, it ain't safe for OKC fans out here, because the OKC Thunder had a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter and we're still up 8 with like 3 minutes left to play in this game. And if they had won this game, then they would have been right back in this series, would have had all the momentum in the world heading back to OKC for game 6. And if they won game 6, then Portland would have been feeling all of the pressure during the pivotal game 7, and because of that, OKC would have had the advantage. All they needed to do was hold on to a 15-point fourth quarter lead, but because they couldn't, Russell Westbrook, despite averaging a triple-double for the 3rd season in a row, is now making his 3rd first-round playoff exit in a row. And of course, Russell Westbrook has been catching a lot of heat and a lot of blame for how this game 5 went down, because Russell Westbrook in this game, yeah, he might have had a triple-double of 29 points, 14 assists, and 11 rebounds, but get this, he was also 11 of 31 shooting from the field, took 31 shots to score 29 points. That ain't a good look, and is made even worse by the fact that his teammate, his co-star on the OKC Thunder, Paul George, had 36 points on the night on 14 of 20 shooting from the field. Man was on fire, and yet Russell Westbrook didn't get him the ball enough. He took 31 shots himself, while the guy who was 14 of 20 from the field only attempted 20 shots. It doesn't really make much sense, and it's made even worse by the fact that if you look at the OKC Thunder and how they finished this game, once again, Russell Westbrook, 11 of 31 from the field, 35% shooting. While on the other hand, you have Paul George shooting 70% from the field, and the rest of the OKC Thunder, minus Russell Westbrook, managed to shoot 65% from the field and 50% from 3. Everyone else on the OKC Thunder was killing it offensively last night, but Russell Westbrook took 31 shots, only made 11, and the Thunder lose by 3, including blowing a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter. It's just not a good look whatsoever for Russell Westbrook. After this game though, I think Paul George might have just been a little bit salty with the shot that Damian Lillard hit, as he was swearing up and down that it was a terrible shot, and the only reason it will be remembered as a good shot is because, well, he made it.
I mean, that's a bad shot. I don't care what anybody says, that's a bad shot. But hey, he made it. That story won't be told that it was a bad shot. We live with that.
I don't think there's such a thing as a bad shot when a guy has already made 9 threes in that game and has had 47 points. If you made 9 threes and have 47 points and have been carrying your team, there's no shot that you could take that would be considered a bad shot. And once again, for the OKC Thunder, they're going to be the talk of the town now, and for none of the good reasons. On the YouTube community, on FS1, on ESPN, on every sports network, and the forums, Reddit, just everywhere, there's going to be a lot of OKC and Russell Westbrook slander and a lot of questions being asked about what they should do now as an organization going forward, via trades, firing their head coach Billy Donovan, just tons and tons and tons of stuff. So what I want you guys to do is let me know what you think the Thunder should do down in the comment section below, because this is the 3rd time in a row that once again they've been eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, despite Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double during the regular season. And it's made even worse by the fact that they don't even have a Carmelo Anthony to scapegoat this time. Anyways, that is actually going to do it for everything that we had to talk about today. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, aka I hope you guys aren't an OKC Thunder fan right now. And if you did enjoy the video, of course, go ahead and subscribe to the channel with post notifications turned on so you don't miss out on future videos, as well as go ahead and destroy that like button. Round 2 is about to start of the NBA playoffs though, and I am super excited because I think this is where the playoffs are really about to get good. There was some interesting things that happened here and there in round 1 in the first round, but overall it wasn't the best because all of the series are ending in round 4 to 5 games, with that Denver-San Antonio series being the exception. Round 2 though is going to be a heck of a lot better, so once again, make sure that you are subscribed. But you guys already know that you are the real MVPs, and until tomorrow, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!